We are live from Gamers for Giving 2026, and we're going to push this to YouTube. Hosting a little Ask Me Anything today. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do this. I think I'll answer live, and I will also be typing, and you get to watch me do it if you're watching this live. Congratulations. And I will post a VOD for sure. So feel free to ask any questions. Here we go. Let's just dive into it. Let's dive right into it. All right, I posted this here on the subreddit. Here we go. Rocket League Esports, 15-year cake day. We are in Ypsilanti, Michigan at the Gamers for Giving venue. We're literally at the venue right now. I'm in one of the skyboxes. I am looking at rows and rows of tables getting ready to be set up on Friday today, and this event will last Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So we'll see if we can play some games as we go. And really excited to be a part of this. I've been a part of it for over 10 years now. I was looking through my badges and I found a badge from 2012. 2014. It was 2014. I found a badge from this event from 2014. And we are 12 years later. So it's met a lot of friends, meet a lot of people, a lot of good people here involved with this. So it's basically run by Gamers Outreach, and the objective is to raise money to build video game kiosks, portable video game kiosks to roll around children's hospitals and keep children entertained who are bedridden, need something to do, they're bored, they're sick. Gamers Outreach builds the portable video game kiosks for the children's hospitals, and they've grown so much in the last 12 years. It's amazing. I don't even know. I think the record-breaking year we had was $1.7 million, I believe. $1.7 million, I think, raised in a weekend. So it's getting bigger and better every year. It's so much fun. Everyone brings their computers. It's a BYOC and sets them up and plays video games all weekend. All for a good cause, all for the kids. So that's what I'm doing here. That's the intro to the Ask Me Anything. Originally, I got involved through StarCraft. I got involved through this event through StarCraft, and then eventually started getting involved with Rocket League and some of the other games that they have going on here. So super fun to be involved. And it's definitely an annual tradition at this point, or it should be. Yeah, so this post kind of covered my history. Got started in StarCraft a long time ago. That's where the Toss comes from in my name, Axeltoss. Axel is an anagram for Alex. Toss comes from StarCraft. Got a gig with Major League Gaming in 2013, I believe it was. 2012. Yep. And from there, moved from StarCraft. Lots of interesting things happened in that competitive scene, in the esports scene. A lot of it bringing it in-house, so Blizzard started running a lot of it. Third parties didn't become as strong. There's a lot of interesting, like, biz dev, like, history with all that. But that was kind of my start. From there, I just look out for the next big thing. I'm very interested in games and competitive games, and that's what brought me into StarCraft eventually. And at this point, I've been involved with 9 different titles at the World Championship tier, including StarCraft, Rocket League, Halo, Apex Legends, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, and quite a few others, which is awesome. And Rocket League has been a ton of fun. I was able to get in at the start of Rocket League So I was able to be there in RLCS Season 1, which was fantastic. We went from having thousands of viewers during league play in Season 1 to 100,000 viewers at the live at the grand final, which is super mega rad. Proof of concept after that first event. I don't want to get too much into all that because I want to get to the questions, but I feel like that's a decent background, and it's been awesome being a part of Rocket League as long as I have been, and continuing to be involved with the video game and competitive video game industries. So let's get into these questions. I'm sorting them from oldest to newest. So here we go. From Williston. I don't know if I should be typing also as I answer these. Maybe I will. Really missing you, man. You, Gibbs, and J-Spot were my favorites out of the OG RLCS cast. That was a good time. Bike Gauge says the OG RLCS cast repeat content. Best chemistry on the devs. I think this really came close. Yeah. Appreciate it. Appreciate the kind words. You know, I go back with all those guys big time. All the guys in the original crew. You know, Quinn Lobdell, Lawler, Final Carpet, Waypunk. You name it. All those guys. We knew that we were a part of something special, and we all poured our hearts into it. We wanted it to succeed. Most of those guys were community guys. They were kind of proven from the community, having been involved with super acrobatic rocket-powered battle cars. And I was very much the guy coming from the StarCraft scene who wanted to be involved with something new and fresh and something that I thought had a great potential future, having played a little bit of Rocket League and seeing some of the competition from the highest tier. So it was really fun for me to kind of meet those guys and hang out with them and learn more about the Rocket League scene, and then really just go all in from Season 1 and work as hard as we did to make it successful. Here's my boy Walter. What's up? What you got there? Sure. Thanks, dude. Good to see ya. Yeah. Oh, I'm doing an AMA on Reddit, talking about the event. No, you're good. Yeah, perfect timing. Yep, talking about the event and talking about my history. Oh, okay. Thanks, Walter. Thanks, Walter. Oh, wow. Okay. I was just handed a latte, strawberry mocha. Here we go. There's Walter, managing director at Gamers Outreach. Big reason why anything happens here is because of that man. See, I wonder if I should type too. I think I will type also. And we'll do like the live response. Thanks. All right, what was your favorite RLCS series you've seen? Ooh. I mean, without a doubt, without a single doubt or without any hesitation, it was the Dig and Toss against NRG finals from Season 5 in London. I mean, I'm speaking mostly towards kind of old school RLCS, um, rather than anything newer, and more specifically, series that I had some sort of involvement with, like I was a commentator and or a host uh, at the event. Landon, the London finals, the Justin goal. And there's an amazing picture out there that was taken by my girlfriend at the time where we were all freaking out on the desk as that moment was unfolding, and it was definitely super cool. Um, if you look closely in that picture, there's actually the parents of one of the players in the background of the photo. I need to go find it, and maybe I should have had it ready to go. But that had to have been one of the most intense, amazing, thrilling moments in RLCS history, without a doubt. In all of esports, the Landon goal, Justin goal. The ball was up in the air at 0 seconds, and Justin scored at the buzzer to send it in overtime. But then Turbo would score in overtime to send Dignitas into the to make them the champion. It was a golden goal to see who's going to be the champion, the Rocket League World Champion. Came down to a golden goal in London. The copper box was just incredible. The fans were amazing. The arena was so sick. Just the fact that the audience was surrounding the venue really made it so wild. Definitely one of my most favorite events that I've been a part of, to be honest, without a doubt. So let me do a type response with that. Landon Season 5. I'll dig up a picture I have from the moment. But the Justin goal to send it to overtime was the loudest. How do I want to answer this? Is hands down one of the best moments in esports history. All of esports. Such a cool moment. Golden goal, everything on the line in a World Championship Game 7. Good times. When is RLBS Season 3 dropping? By the way, I see you guys in the chat. Joe22 saying StarCraft, woo! Hey guys, I might play some games. Let me know if you want to see me play any games after we're done with this question answer, and feel free to ask any questions in the chat. But we might play some games when I'm done with these questions. We'll see what happens this weekend. I might be streaming off and on. I have started a campaign for this event, which I need to find the link for that. You can find it all at gamersoutreach.org, gamersforgiving.org. RLBS. That was so much fun. Super Mario is referring to a skit that I did with Sunless Khan, the big YouTuber, and asked me to do a bit of a skit with him in the form of the RLBS. And that's all I'm going to say about it. If you haven't seen it yet, you should go check it out. Yeah, lots of good memories. Sunlit. I was able to meet Sunless at a live event, and then it just happens. You know people online, and then you show up to the live event and you get to see him. You get to hang out. You get to have a beer or just talk, and that's always such a cool moment. And there's a lot of cool people that I've met throughout all these events. Um, there's one occasion where there's a big YouTuber who kind of came up to me, and I know the YouTuber Kasim G, for anyone who's curious, if anyone knows who Kasim G is. But I watched Kasim G uh, growing up, basically. Like, he's hilarious, and I watched his videos and stuff. And then fast forward to RLCS Season 3 in Los Angeles, I think it was. And that was where Kasim actually came up to me and said he wanted to meet me. And I'm like, wait a second, I want to meet you. And he's like, yeah, dude. He told me he's a fan of Rocket League and a fan of my work. And I'm like, dude, I'm a fan of your work. So that was awesome. And then we ended up hanging out with the Flipside boys, Cookser, Marky, and all those guys, and had a good time hanging out after the events. Lots of good stories like that. Good memories for sure. Joe wants to see some StarCraft ladder. Owenator hasn't watched me since Kartrider Drift? Yeah, definitely missed Kartrider Drift. Everbrook says, wow, it's so cool to see you here, Axeltoss. Really missed the times with you and also Findable Carpet. Favorite pro... Bornstep says, favorite pro player that time has forgotten, but you haven't. Espeon. A lot. Say Tasty Ad and Murdoch. Those are good answers. Espeon's was a cool kid. A lots of funny dude. I almost like thinking about that like a pro player that shouldn't have retired. I mean, I've always been a Kronovi fan. I know he gets a lot of hype just for being a big YouTuber and stuff, but I was always a fan of his tactics. I mean, I'd probably say OG Flipside and OG G2. trying to think of old teams. Trying to remember another one. What are some of the old team names from way back in the day? I'm trying to think of the weird European team names. Like something to do with the cow. I don't remember. Favorite pro player? Devo. Man, these questions make me think. There's another player who I was obsessed with. Gosh, I gotta start looking up rosters. History. No. Tournaments. Man. Espeon was a good answer. Yeah, I just keep thinking back to Devo. Really. Mystic too. It's big. Always been a big Mystic fan. I gotta do this little history run real quick. It's fun to look at these old rosters. Mystic is definitely up there for me. And then when Bluey I was a big fan of. Yeah. Yep. That's my answer. And Mystic, of course, is my guy. Mystic is my guy. Yep. Okay. That was fun. Lots of good insight on thread here. Haha. A golf question? Yeah, kind of. Been doing some golf stuff. You got the golf industry, you got the video game industry. There's some interesting crossovers that could potentially happen. You think about golf simulator technology is effectively a video game. Your controller is your golf club, and you're hitting into a screen, and the feedback is going onto your monitor. So like, there's some interesting things that there's interesting stuff there that I'm curious about. Might work more on crossovers that I could be involved with. So stay tuned on all that. That's cool stuff. Always open to work on anything I've been involved with in the past. Opportunity just has to present itself. At the very least, I want to stream more Rocket League. In general. Among other games. I still have projects in the oven involving all of the above, for sure. Yeah, we'll see what other questions pop up in this thing, but there's some other things that I'm kind of working on at the intersection of video games and community and the competitive scenes around the United States and the world. I think there's other questions. I remember seeing some other questions that so I might elaborate a little more on that. I need to. I've got pictures of all this stuff too that's just on my phone. I don't really know. Maybe put something up there in editing or post production. What have you been up to, man? What have you been up to, man? Oh, you know, video games, golf. Holding it down in the PNW. Um, Seeing in a fair amount of travel to visit family and friends. And some work opportunities. Trying to stream more and produce a bit more media from my recent adventures and activities. I'm an adventure. Okay. Do you remember meeting the middle-aged noobs group during the Vegas LAN? Yes, I do. Yes. I think I met you guys at a bar nearby where there was a pool table. Or maybe it was a hotel lobby. I think you guys gave me a shirt. Lands are the absolute best. What do you think when you read this? I think immediately think that Lawler is a clever and handsome man. What's EAC? Cool. When do I need to use it yet? let people do that and then say a little something. Okay, I'll talk to Walter about that too. Cool, man. Thanks. The countdown continues to tick here at Gamers for Giving in Ypsilanti, Michigan. A fundraiser to construct portable video game kiosks for children's hospitals. 16 minutes on the clock for the doors to open up. Buzz is in the air. It's going to be a lot of gamers in the building. EAC. What is EAC? EAC. Anti-cheat? Oh, okay. I don't really know how to answer that. You think EAC will work? I'm all for doing something about it, you know. I'm all for preventing cheating in a game. I'm no expert on the best ways to do that. What does A1 mean? I was your A1. Hey, Axeltoss, how's your A1 for the last few days of Season 6 might have been the rival series. Just want to say you're great to work with. A1. Don't know. Will we ever see you on the desk again, even as a guest? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Rocket League Championship Series. I'm Axeltoss, and today we have 8 of the best teams in the world in action live from Ypsilanti, Michigan. Here on the desk, I've got a few fine folks alongside me to discuss the matches as they unfold. What's going on? Yeah, we can do it. We can do it. These days, I've got a nice balance of video game and golf related projects going on. Just having fun in life, you know? If you can name the song, I will make you a moderator. What is the name of the song? I can name it without looking. Don't look. I will make you a moderator. Legitimate sign 371, who might be in the chat. Oh no, that's LogRL. What are your thoughts on the current hosts and caster? Wavepunk is one of the best in the business for sure, as are all the other talent who I've worked with over the years in the Rocket League community. Those boys are professional. I'd be hard pressed to find a group of esports talent that cares more and works harder at their craft. I'm a huge fan of them all and also like seeing new faces too. It's called We Speak Chinese. What else do I want to say? What's up, dude? Good to see ya. 10 minutes.
Can you do me two favors?
Yeah, what's up?
So, naturally, please. Second, around 6:30.
Yep.
Can you do me a favor and
Yep.
make a announcement to say thank you for joining us?
Yep.
Because everyone that's joining us now is either premium or paid.
Cool. So give a little shout out to all the early birds, who are here at the start.
Yeah.
Including myself.
Yeah.
Love it.
Okay.
Good to see you. I'll see you around. We'll hang out.
Yeah, I'll be around.
Yep.
My seat is 8 right here for a game one.
Cool. I figure I'll be here most of the time.
I think we'll be
Cool, bang. I'll see you around. Am I does that cover up everything I think about that? Yeah, I mean, it's we got some great legitimate sign asking what are your thoughts on the current host and casters, should they add make changes? And like I said in this blurb here, you know, all esports scenes go through their ebbs and flows when it comes to broadcast talent. Finding the talent initially and having them from the community, having people who knows who what they're talking about, and kind of, you know, professional enough but not too professional. Like it's a a wild west, and it's a pioneering industry. The art of doing something on camera on the internet. It's much different than being on broadcast television or reading a script for something or doing the weather. Like it's its own beast, and it's not easy to be good at. But what's cool about Rocket League is that it started blossoming right when all this was getting refined, uh, and it wasn't one of the super new games. It kind of came into a space that it could learn from previous games and pull in some broadcast talent from other communities, but also bring in some broadcast talent from within the community. So that it's always been a nice balance there, and it's been a refined product from the beginning, thanks to Twitch and thanks to Psionics. It's always been a focused and polished professional product, and that bodes well for all the talent who are involved because we all try to reflect the product as a professional one, and we do, and it drives us to do better, drives us to do the best job that we can, and it drives us to really care a lot about it. And I think that applies to everyone who's ever worked on a Rocket League esports broadcast. A lot of talent, a lot of really good talent working on this game, and the community in the game should feel lucky that they have all of these caring individuals who work as hard as they do to deliver an awesome product. And it was a joy for me to be a part of it for sure. What's cool is too, Rocket League's starting to get some legacy too. At first they were the new kid on the block, but now there's a little bit of legacy in there because it's been around for as long as it has. Okay. Do you still watch Rocket League? Kinda. Not as much as I'd like to. I've been focusing on a lot of other things. Not as much as I'd like to, but I still talk to friends about players and teams, and it's likely I'll continue to try and attend live events if I can make it work. Do you still keep up with RLCS? I think I kind of answered that. I'm not super on top of it, but I try to watch the big events as they happen and try to keep a decent idea of the best players and the best teams. And like I said, talk to my friends about it, other talent, and other friends that I have that are interested in Rocket League. Favorite game you played recently? That's one of my objectives here at the G4G LAN. I haven't had too much time recently to play games, so I tend to spend time on games I've wanted to play. There's Marathon. What other games? There's so many, like the popular ones. What other popular games have come out recently that I that I've been wanting to check out. Anyone in the chat? What other games are we playing? Illegal Function, the best Rocket League host ever. Thank you. Still watch a lot of StarCraft 2. Play through it. What's up? Doors are open. Doors open. Doors are open. Here come the gamers. I still dabble a little with StarCraft. That's a big question. I think, okay, Giver asks, I think esports could really go mainstream in the near future. What sport do you think could do it, and how do we get consistent pay for these teams, kids, and casters? Two things going really well for it are integration at all levels for all age groups and the international. Element of competition. I think esports needs to learn from and work with traditional sports. Same entities are starting to be involved with both. Once we see more collaboration with local regional sports teams and esports efforts, we should really see more of a push into the mainstream as well as continued growth at collegiate and high school levels. The blueprint is there from traditional sports. Esports just has more to work with because it is truly global. Favorite upset series?
When Epic Games acquired Psyonix in 2019, it didn't just change Rocket League's business.
Okay, stop. Playlist, dude. Playlist. Oh, I know what I'm gonna do. Let's open up Rocket League. How about that? It's gonna open for me. Because then I'll have my background music. Okay. Favorite upset series? Hmm. I gotta say the Cloud9 run from the lower bracket is hard to beat. Not sure if that qualifies as an answer, but I'd consider that happening quite the upset. From the season 6 finals. Yeah, Cloud9 dropped to the lower bracket in the season 6 finals, and then they won every single match after that, including a double bracket in the grand final. and won the whole tournament. I feel like that's an upset, right? Favorite event I've ever hosted may very well be R RLCS season 5 in London. Really hard to beat that. What's your opinion on the current political and economic state of Rocket League right now? Political and economic state of Rocket League. So political, doesn't that wouldn't that have to do with Psyonix and Epic Games and what's all going on behind the scenes in Rocket League and in Rocket League esports? Rocket League as a game and then as a competitive title with a competitive scene and global tournaments. Economic might have to do with player base and microtransactions and net um, net profitability or lack thereof. I think the political side of things is a little murky because of what has been happening at Epic Games. Um, I feel like Psyonix should still have a pretty good amount of weight with what happens with the game. So I think I'm okay with the current political landscape in Rocket League. I'm relatively assured by the fact that still has a hand in it. And I feel like they've been relatively good with communicating with the community and trying to reflect what the people want as far as the game is concerned. Okay. I think that pretty much covers everything, huh? I might turn the stream off for now, as I think that kind of wraps up the AMA. But I will continue to answer questions by chat. If you are watching this on YouTube, feel free to drop any comments below. But yeah, I pretty much think that covers it. Let me do a speed round and get these final questions here. Let me refresh and I'll see if there's any new ones. Sort by old. It's really cool to see game elevated year by year as players get better and better. Still very entertaining. So it seems like Louis, Mystic, Kronovi. I don't know. Yeah, I like this. I like the sound of that team. Okay, cool. I think that pretty much does it. Answered that one already. How did you originally get into hosting, casting, and esports, and what advice would you give to people trying to do the same? I played StarCraft back in the day, and I was relatively aware of the competitive scene. I think you got to be aware of games that have an existing competitive scene, whether it's on YouTube or on Twitch or RLCS or some sort of structure, some sort of existing like platform that people are using and playing. Um, so I was following StarCraft on YouTube and what was happening in Korea, and I just started my own YouTube and I started streaming. What I did was I started just hosting tournaments, and then players would play in my tournaments, and that would bring more interest to the tournament, and then people would start watching. You gotta have a computer, you gotta set up streaming software, gotta get a nice microphone, and then like I said, what I did, I would organize my own tournaments, or I would reach out to existing tournaments that need coverage. There's some tournaments out there that don't have any coverage at all, so that'd be a great way to get your feet wet if you're trying to get into it. Uh, find tournaments that are happening that don't have coverage yet, and then reach out to the tournament organizers and see if they'll let you cover it with your channel. You gotta play the game. You gotta know it the best you can. You gotta study it. You gotta study it, and then study other people who are working within the space. It's also best to find games that aren't really popular yet. I never really tried to get into League of Legends because it was already so big when I started to cast. I wanted to get into something new, something fresh. So I'm constantly looking out for new games that might take off and try to get involved with that. Okay, I think that wraps it up. I'm going to close down the stream now, and then that'll be a nice little VOD for the YouTube. And I'll go back and answer some of these through text. So stay tuned. More streams potentially to come here from Gamers for Giving 2026.